Three news stories for you. Firstly, we'll discuss what's happening in Sudan. Tomorrow is very crucial for Sudan. Massive protests are expected tomorrow because reportedly Sudanese Prime Minister has rejected a proposal shared by Sudanese military. That is why tomorrow we could see massive protests. We'll talk about conflict in Sudan. Secondly, three opposition parties of Tigray have issued a joint statement. This statement is directed at TPLF as well. Thirdly, we use two statements. One is from Getachew Reda, who just a few minutes ago claimed that it would be a miracle for PM Abiy to hold on to his seat. We'll have a detailed look at Getachew Reda's statement. Why is he making such big claims? Is TDF about to make some significant gains? And lastly, a statement from Gizachew Muluneh, spokesperson of Amhara region. He has also talked about the ongoing offensive. We'll have a look at his statement too. Firstly, viewers, tomorrow massive protests are expected in Sudan. Yesterday, on Thursday, Sudanese military high-ups, Abdul Fattah al-Burhan and Hamati, Vice President of Sovereignty Council, they met with Abdullah Hamdok, Sudanese PM. The army officers proposed to PM Abdullah Hamdok that cabinet should be dissolved and new government should be formed. But reportedly, PM Abdullah Hamdok has rejected this proposal. And tomorrow we could see massive protests against PM Abdullah Hamdok's government. The protests have been underway for several days, for more than 2 weeks, especially in eastern part of Sudan. Tomorrow we could see more protests. So stalemate between Sudanese military and Sudanese politicians is continuing. Sudanese military does not want to hand over the chairmanship of Sudan's most powerful body, Sovereignty Council. Sudanese military, Abdul Fattah al-Burhan, has been leading this body for the last 2 years. Now it's politicians' turn to take over the chairmanship of Sovereignty Council. But Sudanese military says that it will hand over the chairmanship of Sovereignty Council to elected new government. That is why Sudanese military want Abdullah Hamdok to dissolve the cabinet. But Abdullah Hamdok has rejected this proposal. Tomorrow, massive protests are expected. Some analysts say that Sudanese military is backing these protests. And Sudanese military is trying to put pressure upon Sudanese politicians through these protests. Secondly, viewers, three opposition parties of Tigray have issued a joint statement which is against TPLF. I see this statement as against Tigray People Liberation Front. The three parties are TIP, Tigray Independence Party, Salse Voyene, and thirdly, Batona, viewers. These are three opposition parties of Tigray. The three parties are saying, firstly, the three parties appreciated moves from the US and the EU to consider sanctions against Ethiopian government. But at the same time, the three parties say that why is that the three parties are not being involved in finding a peaceful solution to Tigray conflict. The three parties say that it would be futile to hope that negotiations with TPLF and Ethiopian government can lead to a peaceful solution. the three parties say that if they are left out of this process of negotiations, process of engagement, solution to Tigray conflict wouldn't be found. So TIP, Salsivone and Betona are basically saying that TPLF is not taking them on board, that mediators, international players are not contacting them. That is why there wouldn't be any solution to Tigray conflict, because the three parties say that they represent the people of Tigray as well, just like TPLF does. Well, why is that TPLF not taking the three opposition parties on board? Though the three parties are addressing international community, that international community must involve them as well. But TPLF should also try to create unity. So while you're fighting a war, your opposition parties are not on board with you. It means that you are neglecting them, you're ignoring them. The three parties are not backed by Ethiopian government, as some Tigray parties are accused of being backed by Prosperity Party. These three parties have not been seen as being backed by Ethiopian government, by Prosperity Party, by PM Abiy. They have been part of the government as well in Tigray. So if they have reservations, it means that TPLF is not addressing their reservations, which should be addressed because they represent the people of Tigray. They're not as large as TPLF, definitely small parties, but they are political parties, so they need to be taken on board as well. Thirdly, viewers, the Getachew Reda just a few minutes ago made once again very tall claims. He says that PM Abiy's dream of capturing Tigray is over, that Abiy's forces are crumbling like a house of cards, and that it would be a miracle if he held on to his seat. He is saying that PM Abiy's forces have suffered irreversible damage and defeat. Then we heard from Gizachew Muluneh, Amhara regional spokesperson. He said that this operation, ongoing offensive, it's not a trivial matter. He says that a huge campaign, a huge project has been launched by TPLF, and material and human losses are being suffered by Amhara region. And he says that we must expand and consolidate our struggle. He's basically saying that it's not a small matter. It's a big thing. It's a big offensive which is ongoing in Amhara now. Getachew Reda is saying it's all over. PM Abiy cannot recover now. His forces cannot recover now. Well, when Getachew Reda makes such big claims, keeping in view the past, his past statements, whenever he makes such claims, it means that he has something in his mind. He is hoping that something big is about to happen. We saw similar statements when TDF was trying to take control of Gondar, to cut off Gondar and Western Tigray, and when TDF was trying to move towards Ethiopia-Djibouti road. Back then, again, we saw such tall statements, such tall claims. Again, we're seeing such statements. It means that TPLF leadership has something big in mind. It has not happened so far. According to my information, it's not that ENDF, Amhara forces have suffered irreparable losses in Amhara over the past 7 days. No. But it seems that TPLF has something big in mind. TDF, TPLF, Tira government, whatever you call them, they have something big in mind. What is this something big which would lead to complete defeat of ENDF and Amara forces? Well, I do have some analysis about the something big. In tomorrow's live chat session, we'll talk about that. I think for watching.